Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Indy and it is Durden. Say hey Durden.
What's up, dude?
It is Wednesday afternoon. It is time for INN one-on-one. This is already episode 3 and I'm just so grateful to be able to do this and sit down with one of my boys and talk about all this shit all the time. So, how you been?
Doing okay, man, and the feeling's mutual. I love this stuff. We'll keep doing it.
Yep. So tonight you've got a pretty big appearance going on. We've got a really big show on INN and on Indie Left, as well as, of course, March for Medicare for All is going to be putting that on with Savage Joy. Savage will be hosting it on her channels, as well as Real Progressives also has done some marketing, and they're going to be co-hosting this as well. I know they're going to provide some of the streaming services, some of the back end support, so we appreciate them, our MMT buddies over there. And yeah, it's going to be a heck of a lineup. So what do you know what time you're scheduled to go? I don't think they want to release the whole schedule. They want to kind of leave it a surprise. But any idea? Just give them a little tease.
Yeah, I'll be on 9:40 to 9:50.
Okay,
Yep. And
beautiful.
everybody's going to do about 10 minutes from what I understand. It's going to be pretty quick. I don't think it's going to be a panel so much as like Joy's going to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. So it'll be good. It's going to be a wonderful experience. I hope that a lot of people will consider donating. Don't donate to the squad. Anything you are going to give to the squad or the Democratic Party, just consider this, maybe some direct action stuff. Like we already showed you that we're going to go out there and hit the streets and give some speeches, and we just want it to be bigger and better than last year, so it should be wonderful.
Yep.
Jesse Jett, our INN brother, is going to be closing out the show. He'll be doing some music, of course. Elias Cepeda, he'll be on there as well. And of course everybody that is on that banner that you can see right there. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to 10 minutes each or so. I think Jimmy gets like 15 minutes at the end.
Yeah, let me zoom in a little bit more so everybody can see exactly who's going to be there, and they have the link to donate right there. Okay, so again, appreciate everybody putting forth the effort. This is a full volunteer organization. Okay, no corporate funding whatsoever. And again, we all just want to have Medicare for all. It's not just that we want it, we have an actual plan. We know that there is 1881A, for example, is one way. There are other methods as well. We are first going to have to get a floor vote. We're going to have to get the commitment from multiple lawmakers, and this organization is one of the orgs that's doing that, and we are full in support of them and what they're doing. And you can see it's going to be a great lineup of speakers tonight. We've got 3 INN members, as you mentioned. We got Elias. We got this guy. Look at all the hair on this guy over here. What a smoky picture. I need to get that picture, man. That's a good pick. Um, and then
I don't know where she got it. I didn't give her a thumbnail. I think she just folded off of one of my episodes or something.
that's really good resolution and everything. I gotta talk to. I think that's Shane. So I'll have to reach out to him and see what he's up to and how he did that. But we've got Sabby Sabs and JB and Joe Sheree. She's a disability advocate. We've got the Bank Sisters, and they're organizing for later on in the summer as well. They're doing their Camp Dada stream. Okay, we've got Marianne. She's, I believe, going to open up the show, and she's been, she showed up last summer, and she's a big good friend of Savage Joy. So happy to have everyone that wants to help join this fight. We need everybody on board. And again, Indie News Network, Indie Left News, and Independent Left Media is really excited, proud to be part of this. And again, everybody come by 9 p.m. tonight. Let me see, 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern. Of course, on 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Don't want to leave out our West Coast friends, but it's going to be a really fun, exciting night, and I can't wait to see what everybody's going to say and talk about. I need to refresh the chat so it actually pops up live. I don't see why it's not happening, but we can fix that. Anyway, so a few other things I had on my mind. Wow, Rokfin's still growing every week. I keep getting new emails from Rokfin about new channels, and that's fun to see. Especially as a Ray token holder, and in spite of what the crypto market's doing, Rokfin has actually been pretty stable. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. You
Me
know,
too. Me too. I don't want to really make any money off of my show, as a matter of I try to avoid that. I don't need it. I have a job, but I do like the fact that we can get away from YouTube, because YouTube, they've crippled my channel. They've crippled a couple other channels too. I mean, anybody that's telling the truth on Julian Assange or COVID, any of these touchy subjects that the algorithm doesn't like, you can't grow. It didn't take me long to pass up my subs on YouTube on Rokfin. It took me like less than a year. So yeah, I'm gonna be for season 3 PFC. We're gonna be focusing heavily on Rokfin and Rumble because YouTube has just crippled my channel.
yeah. We're just about there already. Again, we just got a Rockfin channel about 3 months ago, and we've
Yeah.
already got it to a point where we are almost neck and neck. I think we're getting close to 1,000 on Rockfin. We just crossed 1,000 on YouTube. Thank you everybody who helped subscribe. We just got Reef to 100 subscribers on his channel. Everybody's, again, this was the plan and the idea when we first started, was that we help each other, and we we lifts all rising tide lifts all boats. So we should be able to to do this, and everybody's growing. Their channels are growing, their shows are growing. We're producing new shows every week and every month, and the guests are getting more and more interesting. The conversation is fun, and we're giving people the perspective, that from an independent perspective, from the non-electoral solutions, from the direct action solutions, and that's what's exciting to me about what we're doing here, about what INN is up to. Some of the new members, like Joe, like STFU Shitlib Joe, and all of his fire videos that everybody's been playing.
Yep. Yep. He was on Jimmy Dore earlier today, again, and it's going viral again. So as he deserves, absolutely. My man is just throwing heat out there right now. I love it.
Yeah, everybody's been seeing his videos. He's been dropping the INN logo everywhere, and I'm guessing that's helping raise the visibility for INN. We certainly appreciate, love having him part of the network. And again, we're here to lift each other's channels. Reese found his channel a couple of months ago. He said, this guy's doing great videos. He's doing great editing. We should reach out and see if we can collaborate and work with each other. And he's all we said is, hey, you want to put the logo on your videos? He said, sure. And now we're working together, and it's been super exciting. He did something for Action for Assange with Misty. So again, we're all cross network collaboration, which is one of the things that we've been talking about. And you see the people that are on this flyer. You've got a lot of RBN people and a lot of INN people here this time. Other times we've got we'll have MCSC folks involved, and we'll bring in the Roar Media people like Oz and Shonda. Again, this is actually a pretty big space, and it's getting bigger, because as people realize that corporate media, and we know, but there's so many people that are still just plugged into whatever CNN and MSNBC are saying, and the more they figure that out, they're then starting their own channels, and they're looking for different shows and channels. So we're picking up new audience members. Look, the stuff about Roe v. Wade, and I know you're about to drop an exclusive track. I have not published it yet, but you sent it over, and we could talk about that in a second. But I think that the disillusionment that a lot of people are now seeing finally with the Democratic Party over the Roe v. Wade situation, sucks that it took that to get them to see it, but at least they're now seeing that this party does not represent them. And they're looking for alternate people who have been saying this the whole time, and who's been right about this, and
Yeah.
what have they been saying. So what do you think?
I think a lot of the people that were kind of let down by Bernie Sanders bowing out this last time are looking for a little bit of purpose. You remember the Sanders swarm, that phenomenon where like anybody attacked Bernie Sanders online, they would immediately get like ratioed into hell. There was so many people backing him up and so hopeful about getting him into office that were let down when he finally bowed out and didn't really get us anything. Those people were left without a purpose. I think that those people can be sort of recruited the way that we've been doing. I think they want to do something, they just don't know what. And a lot of these people, like for instance Joe, have a secret talent that we just don't really know about, a superpower, if you will. And we're kind of collecting those people. And I want to encourage as many of those people who are angry and feel like there's no hope, because they've lost hope in the Democratic Party. No, there is hope, and you can get involved. And sometimes you can get involved and not, you don't have to go out and like necessarily be an activist. That's nice. I love it when people do both, like do a show or create content or mod and then also do activism. But if you just want to get involved and help us with something like what we're building right now, everybody's got a talent and everybody has a home at a network like this. You just have to have the want to do it and the willpower and the resolve. And a lot of those people are very smart, very talented people. And I like to encourage them to get involved with us. And like you said, Indy, we're sort of like what we do in INN is a little different than the other ones in that we're like scouting in a way, like you would for a baseball team. And when you find somebody like Joe, STFU shitlib, it's like we went to a minor league game and this dude comes out of the bullpen that nobody's ever heard of before. And the first pitch he throws is 106 miles an hour. And we're like, oh shit, he's got 106-mile-an-hour fastball. You know what? You just throw that pitch. We're going to draft you. You're on our team now. And he's just going out there and just throwing that fastball over and over and over again. Nobody's ever going to hit it. He's an ace.
He's
an
a
ace.
Mariano
And I want
Rivera.
more people to do that.
Well,
yeah, dude. He can throw the same pitch over and over again, and it's wonderful. I love it. He's ultra talented, and I want more people that can do stuff like that. Like that's a completely different talent than like you have or me or a lot of other people in INN. We all have different talents, but we work together, and that's the way of the future, I think. Because you're right, corporate media. Once the boomers die off, basically nobody's going to watch, the news on television. Nobody's going to trust Fox News or CNN, MSNBC. CNN is going under like in the next couple of years, man. Look at what happened with CNN Plus. Nobody is buying what they're selling. So this is the way of the future. I say, if you're going to get your news, get it from normal people who do their homework. They might be wrong occasionally, but at least they'll apologize if they're wrong and they'll admit, I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but at least I'm not bullshitting you. And if we can create a network like that, which we're doing right now, which is our network, but also we collaborate with all those other networks, Mi Casa, Su Casa, RBN, Hard Lens Media. And if all of those networks work together, you've got it's an apparatus that fights propaganda and it protects all of us from censorship, which is coming, man. All of us they're going to come at us relentlessly as this empire falls. So there's strength in numbers in a way. So I want to recruit as many people as possible. If you have a talent, even if it's something as simple as editing or writing little jingles or doing some writing on Substack, it's like, dude, come over. You have a home here. I much rather get my news from somebody like The Dissident, another one of our INN writers on Substack, than from one of these other writers for the fucking Guardian or New York Times. And I think most people would agree with that, especially in this country where it's like, I trust my fellow proletariat to give me better information than these corporate sellouts. You're never going to get an honest opinion or an honest news story that isn't completely slanted towards corporations on Fox, MSNBC, or CNN. Go elsewhere. And that's the way of the future. I'm hoping it catches on. It already seems to be. We just got to, keep gathering aces and keep gathering good players who give a shit about this stuff, and we're going to be just fine. I'm really excited to see where this whole thing is 2 or 3 years from now. I think it's going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to these boutique left channels that are going to have to deal with us here in the next couple of years.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, I would also mention people who want to get involved and don't necessarily think they have a skill or a talent. We have people that can teach you all this stuff and can help educate. And, we have people who know all these different platforms, and we need help, especially like platform managers, someone who understands what a YouTube audience knows and likes and does, and be able to upload videos and title them and do descriptions and keywords and tagging and, use shorts and have an editor talk with an editor and say, here's what people on YouTube are currently looking for, and let's tailor some content to look at that. And that we can have them for every platform. I mean, we can have one dedicated to Rokfin, because that's ad free. That's focused on getting monthly subscriptions on there, and that's another way to support INN and also to support ad free and get off of YouTube is to get a monthly premium subscription to Rokfin. Now, most of our videos are not premium, and we don't make them premium by choice. All of the INN videos are free right now on the platform, but there are premium videos. I think all of Max Blumenthal's videos are premium. All of the pro-democracy pod from Alex Rubinstein when he's back and doing his podcast, those are premium. There's a bunch of other ones. And it's completely worth it for $9.99 to get all the premium content on the entire platform. I'm just a huge fan of the way that it's laid out. I know the text sometimes isn't great. Sometimes the scroll is messed up, especially if you're kind of narrow browsered. I tend to open up the chat in a different window on Rokfin, just the way that I watch. If you can do that, it tends to be a little bit better on the experience. But
yeah, and it'll get better the more people go to it, and it has been better. It was really tough to use like a year ago, but they've of course gotten a lot more creators right now, so they can upgrade things, and it's going to get better as the years go on here. And I've told you, Indy, it's my goal eventually to move away from YouTube entirely. They don't treat me well at all. Every time I put on 10 subscribers there, they immediately I'll put on 10 after a video, and then I immediately lose 9. And I don't know how that happens, but every single time it's like, 10 steps forward, 9 steps back with them. It's like I don't know what they're doing, but I can't stay over there for forever. So eventually I'll move away from it, because anybody that's telling you the truth is not allowed to grow the way you're allowed to grow on Rokfin and these other platforms. So, yeah.
now, have you looked at Telegram? Do you do Telegram yet, or out from your phone?
No,
Hmm.
no, yeah. I eventually I'll look for another platform after I'm done with YouTube. But right now, all I can handle is YouTube, Rokfin, and Rumble. I don't have much time for anything else. I'm a technological dinosaur that way,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm busy with my other stuff that I'm doing. I'm working and got a family and stuff. So
I feel that. I definitely feel that. So let's see, what else have we got going on? Holy crap. Every day in this network has been, this is one of the things that we also talked about in growing INN was having more shows and more channels and more things streaming and uploading. So Rob last week sent me over a clip that I put into a nice, pretty INN frame. And there's another one again coming out today on Roe v. Wade. You want to preview and tell them a little bit what they can expect on that one? Do you roast anybody? I cut it, but honestly, I didn't even get a chance to watch it. I had it on mute.
yeah, no, that's okay. I don't roast anybody. I mean, I always roast somebody like along the way, but I was talking about the thing that's pissing me off this week is liberals gaslighting everybody over Roe v. Wade. Like anybody that wants to blame the Democrats who have a majority right now and the White House for Roe being overturned, they immediately say, well, no, it's actually Susan Sarandon's fault because Hillary Clinton would have won were it not for Susan Sarandon, even though Hillary Clinton picked Tim Kaine, who is, he's anti-abortion. So that's nonsense. And I'm getting kind of in depth about how structurally it doesn't make any sense that these people would be making that claim. Like they gaslight you like crazy because they have no argument. The Democrats have a majority right now. They had a majority under Carter, Clinton, a super majority briefly under Obama, and then a very, very strong majority right after that. Didn't codify Roe, and Joe Biden has a majority right now. They could have codified Roe at any time. They could have done it. They could just, expand the Supreme Court. They could have rammed through Merrick Garland. They could, at this very moment, get rid of the filibuster, get it done. They could even insert the Freedom of Choice Act into a budget reconciliation bill and then just overrule the parliamentarian, and then you would also get it done. There's numerous different ways. So I go into depth on how they could get it done right now and aren't, and how these shit libs are full of shit for going out there and gaslighting people and acting like, this is Susan Sarandon's fault. It can't possibly be the Democrats' fault, even though they have a majority. So that was really like irritating me. So I just basically ranted and raved for like 12 or 13 minutes or something. And yeah, that you can look forward to that on INN.
Yep. Yep, and we're gonna put that on all the INN channels. I'm gonna have it on YouTube. It's already uploaded, I think, there, and now I have to get it into Rokfin as a draft and get it published at the same time. So yeah, we've got Les Bones in the chat. See, Les Bones is one of those members of the network. So he helps out with some social media stuff and just sharing and amplifying. I mean, literally, that everybody has a role, and we appreciate him being supporter. And what is this? Oh, we're getting some spam. Nice. Okay, block user on YouTube. Peace out with that. Nice. I haven't seen that in a while. And now it's now coming on Rokfin too. Good stuff. All right. Well, we're squashing bugs there. That's cool. So last night I did a show with Jesse. Monday night we did not do a show. Tara took the night off. It's her first night off that she took off in like a month, and she's been just knocking it out also. Props to Tara. If you're not subbed to her YouTube channel already, it's hard to find. It's youtube.com/Tara Reid author, AUTHOR. And they're suppressing the hell out of it. So I figured out why. So if I go to YouTube, let me just open up YouTube and I'll switch over again to our presenter view so you can see my screen. Now, usually if I search the name Tara Reid, you'll see right here, even if I search the name of her channel, now I actually get her name here. But if it used to be, and maybe it's because I'm subbed, you can see a lot of the videos are older videos, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old. And the reason why is because of two reasons. First off, if you go to filters, that's the reason why. It's sorted by what they consider to be relevance. So what we would need to do is change it to upload date, and then look at what happens. All the recent clips, everything that Tara's been putting out lately, all the appearances, all of her latest stuff is what's going to show up first. Like it should. Even, hey, look at that, Independent Left News. Even when she was in an update, she should be there. Hardlens Media. You can see this is what people should be seeing when they search Tara Reid.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening. And that's one of the ways that they suppress you in the algorithm and make it hard to find your channel. Even if you search Tara Reid author as one word, and you just search by the relevance. Oh, now they seem to be fixing it.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
good to
sneaky
see.
little trick by making that the default. But yeah, not surprised at all.
Yeah. So okay. So at least that's starting to get a little better for her. And again, you can see that her channel's already approaching 900 subs here. She's already passed that. She's like neck and neck with her Rokfin and her YouTube already. And
yeah, I saw that. You guys are like within 5 subs of each other. That's cool.
Yeah, but also that she's within the same number of YouTube and Rokfin subs on her own channels, which is really cool. So again, please go support Tara. She could really use even a couple of bucks if you can help her out. I am a Patreon supporter. She also has a Substack that you can go to, tarareid.substack.com, and you can subscribe, and she's going to be publishing more. She's already working on some writing stuff. So let me not show you my Twitter. Let's go back to that. Man, I've got, so let's talk a little bit. I know we talked about the March for Medicare for All. I did a stream with Radical Leftist Agenda. So some of the other channels that I know you've been watching, who else are you checking out these days?
A lot. But my tastes have shifted dramatically since I started PFC. When I first started, I was more like on the I used to watch Kyle Kalinske, The Humanist Report, David Dole, and occasionally TYT. And then after Joe Biden got elected and they all completely started sheepdogging people into the Democratic Party and defending the squad, or at best not even mentioning the squad where they failed numerous times over the last 2 years. I shifted dramatically. So now, like, mostly I would say I get a lot from Richie Medhurst, Lee Camp, of course, everybody at Revolutionary Blackout. So I watch JB's show, I watch Savvy's show, and everybody at RBN as well, basically every day. Other than that, geez, I still watch everything that the Gray Zone puts out. Glenn Greenwald, of course, and yeah, I mean, you kind of know because I post a lot of the videos in on my Facebook PFC group. If something really good comes out, I will immediately put it in there so more eyes can get on it. I still watch Jimmy Dore, not as much nowadays, but I'm still a big Jimmy Dore fan. And yeah, I mean,
And of course, all the
you've kind of
INN
seen
people. You got all the
yeah, oh, of
INN
course,
people.
INN. Yep, yep. A lot of INN. A lot of Reefer After Dark. I watch Uncle Warren's show a lot. I really like his show. I have since the beginning. And of course, everything that you guys do together. At least I don't always watch every single video all the way to the end, but I'll bop in for a half hour, an hour, whenever I'm just sitting around and I'll listen. And of course, I like Jesse Jet's new show as well. It's really really good. He's super talented, and we're glad to have him. But yeah, that's what I'm doing nowadays. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I watch routinely.
There's
I
so
can actually
many.
look it up here.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you, we're
I
putting
still
out.
I bop in for like the random episodes of Hardlands Media, Convo Couch. Oh, Franco. I always watch Frank Analysis. I like his show a lot. I've always been a big fan ever since he had me on the first time. But yeah, that's mostly what I've got. I do keep an eye on some other channels who I would consider to be a little bit less than left, just in case they do something really stupid and I have to go out there and roast them. I won't bring them up right now. They've been okay lately, but I have 2 or 3 channels, one of which is Breaking Points, where I'll bop in and see what they're talking about just so I'm not in an echo chamber. And every once in a while, I'll run into a really, really bad take where I have to make a joke about it in a roast. But yeah, that's basically who I'm consuming at the moment, but it changes week by week. If somebody really turns me off with something they say, I will allocate that time to another channel that I like better, and it's always evolving. So, yeah.
And any like podcasts or call-in shows? Have you been like getting into listening to any of the more of the audio stuff, or is it more still
Not a
just
lot.
YouTube
Not
and
lately, and
video
I might
stuff?
in the future. Yeah, no, not really. Oh,
Hmm.
also, I do listen to Russell Brand quite a
Oh,
bit
he's
still.
great. Oh my
Not
God.
as much nowadays as I was like 2 or 3 months ago, but I still quite like his show. He's hilarious, and he's getting better as he learns more about politics. He's just kind of naturally funny and nuanced, and he actually gives a shit about being honest with his audience and communicating with his audience. So I quite like it. I don't know if you saw, he's now the top political YouTuber in the world, I believe.
Yes.
His YouTube channel actually gets more views than like Joe Rogan. So I love that. He passed TYT in early March, almost the same day that Jimmy passed Kyle Kalinske. They passed the person they were chasing like within 2 days of each other. It was
Hmm.
awesome. That was a very happy time for me. March 8th through 11th.
Oh man, March 8th was the day that my Discord got zapped. And
Oh,
actually
I'm sorry.
March 8th is our brother Reese's birthday. It's kind of funny. He got his we both got our Discord zapped on his birthday. It was a
Sorry to hear
crazy
that.
day. Yeah, that was the we still haven't quite recovered. But yeah, I definitely remember Jimmy and Russell passing TYT and Kyle. And again, it's not a surprise. I think Russell's up to 5 point. He said in yesterday's video, 5.7 million. He's up to now.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
don't discount what he's doing on Rumble, because they don't have like a second outlet that's delivering thousands of live views plus tens of thousands of views on it's I mean they have their own app, but I don't even know how many people are using that thing. The
Yeah.
Rumble's huge.
Russell gets more views on YouTube per video than CNN does at prime time. Like, he gets more views than CNN by himself, and he's growing, and they're dying. So I've been saying this for like since basically the inception of PFC, is that a lot of these like honest comedians that are like dabbling in politics are kind of the way of the future, I think, because people inherently trust them more. I even saw a poll the other day on Twitter that was like, who do you trust the most? comedians or politicians, and comedians had like 95%. Like, so yeah, I think we understand like corporate media figures and politicians are not to be trusted, but you can get a little bit of truth from these, Russell Brands, Jimmy Dores, Joe Rogan types. And I think that has a lot to do with why they're so popular, is because they may not be necessarily aligned with you in every way, but at least they're honest and they're like naturally curious people who are trying to get to the bottom of all this and giving you their honest opinion along the way. So I think that's why they're so popular. Joe Rogan on Spotify absolutely dwarfs like anybody else. I mean, he has twice as many views per episode than Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson is the leading view getter on primetime television. I think he averages like 5 million views per episode on TV, but Joe is up at like 10 million plus. I think it's 11 million actually. So I mean, these people are actually, they're doing what I hope our network will do, which is kind of phase out that old way of doing the news. And I think that's what people are kind of into nowadays. They're willing to listen to people that aren't necessarily, they don't come from a background in politics. And in a way, that's actually a good thing. And they trust them more because they seem to be, interacting with their audience and asking honest questions. So I love it. I hope that these channels continue to grow. I would love nothing more than for people to generally get their media and their news from people like that in the future, rather than the Stuart Varneys and the Sean Hannitys and the Rachel Maddows and the Brian Stelters of the world. And it's happening right before our eyes. CNN Plus is dead. CNN is hemorrhaging viewers. The Intercept is begging for subscriptions because they're down at least 20% with their subscriptions right now. They admitted that in like a newsletter or a memo that they sent out to their subs. They're like, we need your money because we're down 20%. So I think that those channels and those outlets are the way of the past. It's just a matter of how long are we going to take to transition. And for people like you and me, man, it's just a matter of just like waiting it out. We got to box them out. Eventually we'll phase out those dinosaurs. They will go extinct. And then we will have the market cornered and we'll actually be honest with our viewers. We will interact with them and they'll keep us in line. And that is a much more sustainable and I think a much better way to get your news, is people that come from not wealthy backgrounds just giving you their opinion, reading the news on their shows, and they interact with their audience. If you interact with your audience, they keep you in line, which is something that these other mainstream media channels do not have. That's an advantage we have, because if I have a bad take, generally I don't agree with the Vanguard on this. They seem to be happy to maul with their viewers every once in a while. If my viewers come at me in droves over a bad take, I listen to them because they came to my show for a reason. I attract people to my channel that tend to like what I'm doing and agree with my views. So if I have a bad take, I expect my viewers to hold me to account. And that's a good thing. I can change my mind if a bunch of my viewers that I interact with regularly hold me on something that I said that was bad, I change my mind. And I think that's the way of the future. That's more important, because that way you're held accountable in a way by your viewers, and that way you can be a better voice for the people. So that's what I hope this all becomes. I would love to see, I'm so excited to see where this is 2, 4, 5 years from now, when we've got a bunch of other content creators in our own network. But I also want to see other networks pop up like ours. I'd love to see people that are friends that are looking for an outlet, that are well versed in politics, just getting together and just do your own fight club. Just talk with your friends on a channel for once a week for an hour about politics. I would love that. I want more people to raise their voices and start working together. That is, in my opinion, the way of the future, and I really hope it catches on. And it seems to be. It really does.
Well, I know that there's one out there that CJ helped start initially. That there's I think they're the People's Voice Network. They used to be the Populist Voice Network. So there's another one out there that they're getting going. They've got a couple of decent shows I've seen. There's another one that I saw on Rokfin called Union of the Unwanted, and that's like a huge group of Rokfin streamers that we know, and I know that Slow News Day Steve is in there, and Nico House from MCSC are in there, but then there's Sam Tripoli and some other comedians and some other Rokfin people that you may or may not know, and it's just that's one of those places where you can experience different voices and start to broaden out and learn some different streamers and hear some different takes and different perspectives, which I'm always looking for. Um,
Yep.
uh, Here's
Yep.
what
That's
Colin's
another
saying.
advantage we have, man, is we have some diversity, like real diversity within these networks. People that come from different backgrounds, they're different marginalized groups that are going to give you a take you'll never ever get on any of these other channels. And that includes breaking points. You will never get you'll never have anybody that's like a really poor person of color be on breaking points. If they do, it'll be just to like bring them on as like a tokenism thing where they'll be like, hey, yeah, you can't say that about us because we do have actually a poor person of color. Generally, I think these independent networks are going to be the only place you can get those viewpoints. So again, that gives us a huge advantage, and that's what I want to listen to. I actually enjoy listening to, diverse opinions on this stuff. As long as you're honest and you're not bought out, I have I'll listen to whatever you have to say. The only other criteria that you have is you have to be anti-imperialist and anti-capitalist. Beyond that, if you meet those three criteria, I will listen to what you have to say. We can have a great conversation. And that's something that you can't get on mainstream media or a lot of these boutique lefty channels. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, yeah, and I've got some other names I wanted to add in there that have been, they're regularly featured in Leftist Today and my Substack, in Independent Left News, which are who are the Bank Sisters. Again, they're going to be appearing tonight as well. Okay, we've got Primo Radical, huge fan of Primo,
Yep.
but again, you mentioned some of my favorites that I watch is JB Font and Sabby. I also love watching CJ. He's got this "You Left Shit
Yep.
Out," and again, all the
Yep.
RBN people, Joe Sana, and I like that International Leftist Coalition that they do. Also, that's such a great like. Kareem and those guys, that's a totally different take that nobody's providing anywhere else. And
Yep.
kudos to Nick for coming up with that. Um, so some of the other Caitlin Johnstone, I think, did you mention Caitlin? Because she writes, but she
Yeah.
also puts out a YouTube video of her writing. I think it's her husband that reads it, which is
Yes.
amazing. I love hearing that.
I love our channel too. Yep. Very much.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. And you mentioned our friends again, Hardlands, Convo, Franco. I was on with Franco, and you mentioned the breaking point stuff. So we just published earlier this week our third article on breaking points in our third segment. We've got like probably two or three more. Um, but we analyzed James Lee and his channel, and I don't know if you had a chance to go through that yet.
I have it up right now. I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
I
sweet,
got 3 or 4 articles I got to read later today,
sweet.
but I will. I promise you.
Awesome. So no, I did a read through of it, and I saw that Chris Legion actually watch me do the reading and like kind of critiqued and commented on the article, and I haven't even had a chance to watch that, but it's we can see what they're doing and what they're trying to do again, and I can't repeat this enough, is they're trying to frame themselves as independent media while being aligned to corporate, for the most part, corporate, or at least to push people back toward the duopoly and not provide any alternative solutions, and to suck up the rest of the airspace so that people aren't talking about direct action, people aren't talking about general strikes, people aren't talking about worker strikes in general, until they're already over and crushed by the corporation who's already made a deal with the heads of the union. Nobody's talking about corruption inside the union leadership and making sure that we're holding them accountable, and also that union leadership is not just going on speaking tours, for example. Um, we've got to hold our own accountable, and a lot of times, the bigger people get, the less in touch they tend to stay with the people. It is something that you need to fight to do, to make sure that you're constantly talking to the workers in the street, in the stores that are, it sounds so silly, but we really just become so disconnected, especially in like a delivery, a lockdown type of world. Um, California, I know that they're still actually having people locked down. It's nuts. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, man. I just I don't want breaking points to be destroyed. I want them to join us. I want them to stop defending the Democratic Party. Nothing would make me happier than for them to turn on the squad and say, "Listen, we're going to use our channel for good. We're going to use it as a way to leverage the, 6 to 10 progressives that we put in there." Nothing would make me happier than Kalinsky and breaking points to all unite around that. They won't do that because then they'd have to admit that Jimmy Dore was right. They won't do it. But beyond that, if they did that, I'd be like, oh shit, they're on our team now, because
Did
then they
you
have millions of subs that we can now, and views daily, that we can use as a way to leverage these people. But I do worry. There are breaking points as an example. I worry that what they are trying to do here is they understand that they are going to phase out the TV pundits. They're like mainstream media 2.0, with mainstream media with a software upgrade. But what they understand is like there's going to be 10 to 15 progressives that are in the House and the Senate that they will have access to if they just kind of tread water the way they're doing right now, as a lot of these older boomers in Congress either retire or die off or whatever. They will have a much better spot 5 years from now if they can just survive, because then they'll have access to all of these powerful people in Congress, and they'll have them on their shows and stuff like that. I think that's what they're trying to do. I wish they wouldn't. I wish they would just try to maintain a little bit of like a lot of bit of grassroots influence, talk to the people, and get out there and do some activist events and use your channel to promote things like that. But you'll never see them doing like what we're doing tonight. They're never going to do, a live stream for an activist event. And if they do it, it'll be because we force them to. But yeah, I don't want them to go out of business. I want them to join us and to use their channels for leveraging politicians, doing direct action promotion, and mutual aid promotion. Nothing would make me happier than for Kalinsky to come out and be like, yeah, I founded the Justice Democrats, excuse me, but I don't want anybody to donate to them anymore. I'm going to use my channel as a way to starve them of donations as best I can. And he's got 1 million subs. So if he did that, I'd be like, okay, cool, man, you're off the shit list. I'm not going to make fun of you anymore. Finally, you're joining the party. A little bit late, 2 years late or 4 years late, whatever. And I suspect there will be a couple of them that do that. I think we need to keep you and me and this network we're building, we need to keep our pedal to the metal and forcing them to do that. There will be others that don't. And I think they'll eventually just kind of go extinct. Like Sam Cedar, he's never going to change his mind. He'll just join MSNBC one day and let the majority report die. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But nothing would make me happier than for those people to finally join us. But like I said, I don't think they're going to do that because they've already established publicly for like 2 years that Jimmy Dore has to be wrong about everything. And if they wanted to join us in doing this stuff, they'd have to admit that he was right. A lot of them are too prideful to do that. So we'll just have to see how it turns out. It's going to shake out over the next couple of years. And that old paradigm of like TYT and MSNBC, their days are numbered unless they upgrade in a real way, substantively. So we'll just have to see how it goes, man. And for people like you and me and the rest of this network, we just have to keep doing what we're doing. It's just a waiting game.
Yeah, and again, one of the other big things, and you talked about some of the strategies, even when we're going back to, it popped into my head about the Roe v. Wade thing that the Democrats could be doing, and I disagree with the filibuster thing. I think that that's a big mistake, honestly. If they enacted, even if they had the votes, I think that that's a huge mistake. They're about to lose Congress. Why would you give up your one leverage to be able to stop a legislation that you don't want to happen? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But what they could do is exert pressure on Manchin and Sinema both. They could strip committee assignments. They could strip funding. They could put all kinds of pressure on them locally. They could fund opponents, the primary challengers. They could also make sure that people that were challenging in their state, opponents of them, not just primarying them, but at lower levels had positions so that they could make decisions that would not necessarily benefit Manchin and or Sinema. And we know how corrupt Manchin is within West Virginia, and you know, I think he used to be the governor. He's also a multi millionaire within there. But there's plenty of people that they can support who that are not Republican. By the way, we're not saying to run to Republicans. That's not what we're saying. We are, again, anti-duopoly in every way, shape, or the form. It's Indie News Network because we are independents. Labels are bad. Stay independent. You can see what it says on the ticker. But yes, MSNBC, Christopher, are a bunch of corrupt Ivy League neolibs who despise 99% of the country. If you don't live in New York or Los Angeles or Chicago and you don't think a certain way, and they're also, but that's not even the case so much anymore. You know, look, half the people on that network are ex-Bush administration Republicans that are now quote unquote Democrats, which is hilarious. Or you've got ex-head of the CIA, John Brennan, or, you know, you've got, what's his name? Jay Johnson. He goes on there regularly, but the other guy, is it Jeff Johnson? I can't think of that guy's name. My God, he's the worst. Just complete neolib trash. I mean, all of them, and completely agree with you there. I mean, this is not what left actually is. They don't represent the left, and that's part of the farce. And what happens right now is they're perpetrating this whole left-right thing entirely. So then again, we are to the left of them, but by calling them left, where does that put us on their scale? The problem is it puts us nowhere, and they've already done that to more than 50% of the country, because as of April, there was a poll that showed that 54% of the country now identifies as neither Republican or Democrat, and that makes me happy. We need to be growing that because labels are bad. We have to stay independent. And the more independence that we have, people are going to have to vote on issues, and the politicians are going to have to come to us. Now, right now we live in an oligarchy, and they're coming to the donors and to the advertisers and to the bundlers that are funding their campaigns. And we've got to figure out a way to fix that. And again, this is what Reef and I talked about first, is before you can get yourself a Medicare for all, before you can get yourself really any of this stuff, any kind of substantial gun control legislation, if you want it at all, you have to fix the broken Congress that's putting a wedge into making any legislation have any teeth and be good for the masses without providing a ton of pork to both the donor class and the corporations, which now are one and the same, thanks to corporations are people too, Mitt Romney, and before that, the Citizens United ruling, but not just that one, there were several. And you guys were talking before about audience engagement and participation on channels, and that really is the key to growing your channel, is to get people not just watching but chatting and talking about what's going on your channel. And all right, for a few minutes here, I want to play the game, and I want to show you something that Reef and I stumbled upon. You may have heard of it, Rob, but I showed Jesse this game last night, and the way it works is, hey Oz, there's Oz popping into the chat. The way it works, and let me go to Twitter first. About a week and a half ago, we found this website. I found a tweet, and the tweet is right here, and we're going to meet these four faces, and these are part of a Twitter bot network. Okay, this is Amber and Brenda and Michelle and Sarah, and they all have the same face. Why? Because they're literally part of a bot network. They were created on the same day. GAN, Generative Adversarial Network, right? So this is from the website thispersondoesnotexist.com. So we pop over to thispersondoesnotexist.com, and all it does is it shows you a random face of a person, okay, that does not exist. And what Reef and I started doing is we just make up story. We go, whoa, okay, so that person, she's like a middle manager at corporate whatever, and it just got really funny. And then you got kids with funny hair, and so we started making up stuff about them, and we also called it.
Who are these people?
Oh, you can't hear that. Let's do it again.
Who are these people?
Nice. Who are these people? So as part of like the INN thing, who are these people? It kind of fits. So this guy, what does this guy do? What do you think?
That's definitely one of let's see, he'll be a a lead strategist on John Fetterman's team.
Oh, there
He
you
works for
go.
John Fetterman.
There you go.
Or let's see here. I don't want to get too dicey, man. When
we
it
can
comes
get
to
dicey. We're
making
going to
fun of-
Rockfin. They don't exist. They don't
I don't know, man.
exist. That's the best part. They don't exist.
I know, but yeah, you're right. He looks like he might work for like David Duke. Maybe he goes golfing with David Duke.
Oh, see, that's what
Is
I'm
he
talking
Azov?
about.
Is
Okay.
is that one of those Azov
See, it could
captains that
very
they make
well
him look
be
really
Azov,
handsome?
Azov
They make
Battalion.
him
See,
look, yeah,
See-
he's super handsome, and then the mainstream media is like, "Look at this handsome soldier that's fighting for Ukraine," and then there's a picture of him with his shirt off, with a swastika on his chest. Like,
Mhm.
oops, we didn't promote him.
see, and this is an interactive game. Usually, and when there's a bunch of chat here, every time we do this, the chat. Oh, there's Joe Rogan. Okay, see, somebody's got Ghost Art's got
Yeah.
got Joe Rogan popping up. So we love playing this game now over at Indie Left and at INN. Okay, she has been on a 2-day coffee bender, and she really needs to get some rest. Her name is Katrina. Her name's Katrina, and she wants to speak to the manager very badly. That's that.
Yeah,
that,
looks like Nina Jankowicz's older sister.
Oh yeah. Janky Jankowicz. Oh yeah. So that's the other thing is I figured out that it takes about a minute for chat to actually figure out what it is, who it is, and start typing it in. And then all of a sudden I see 5 or 6. Oh, it was this one, and this. She's a manager at this, and her kids are this, and man, it's just. Reef played this on Friday night, Reef for After Dark, and I think it's fun for when we get goofy late at night, and it's a good way to blow off steam and make fun again of people who don't exist. This person does not exist.com. So it's a lot of fun to just kind of flip through this. And hey, you've probably seen okay, now this one's non-binary. We don't know now this one takes like the eyes maybe of a guy and smile of a woman. Wow, that's
Looks like Justin Bieber after his eyelid went back to where it's supposed to be.
Maxwell's dead body double didn't kill herself. Yeah, that's right. They're Oh my god. See, I see a little Rosie Perez in there now that I take a little bit of a step back, and I see it a little bit smaller. I see Rosie Perez. Yep. But yeah, Jesse and I played a little bit of this last night also, and we just it's just sometimes it's weird stuff in the background.
Geez. Looks like John Hickenlooper with a missing chromosome.
Right? And
not really.
And hair plugs.
I think John Hickenlooper is the one with the missing chromosome compared to this gentleman here.
Hair plugs. Oh my goodness. All right. So this one does not exist. Okay. See, some of them are just not funny. This one's kind of funny. Okay, that's Smokey Look. He's an actor, getting a lot of B-movie parts, but never able to break through. Thinks he's really funny, but not really that funny, and a complete shitlib on Twitter.
He's going to be cast in the new X-Files reboot.
Karate Squid. Okay. Whew. So again, this is who are these people?
Who are these people?
I just love playing that soundbite. Jesse capped that, and of course that is Nancy. And Jesse did roast Nancy last night on American Tradition. So by all means, everybody check that out. I hear my kids running around upstairs. I'm gonna go play with some kids. We're coming up on about an hour, and again, I always have a blast talking stuff with Rob. I know we're gonna have the March for Medicare for All fundraiser later tonight, so please everybody go. You can sub to this channel, sub to any of the Indie Left channels and Real Progressives and Savage Joy's channels. We're gonna be having it on all of them. and 9 p.m. tonight Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and it's going to be a good time. Everybody's gonna talk about why Medicare for All is important to them specifically, and all the things that they're doing to support doing that. And I think people will be funny, and there'll be good stories. And Savage Joy is going to host it, and again, we're going to be co-streaming it, and we're really honored and excited to do that. And I know you're going to be working on some exclusive other clips for Rumble, Rokfin, so you're going to have to follow Rob everywhere in order to find all those, right?
Yeah, man, you guys can look me up on Rokfin and Rumble. I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 more episodes over the next 2 or 3 days. I am going to follow up on the Paul Mason story. I was doing some episodes on that, reading off of Kit Clarenberg's really good work that he's done recently. But then Jonathan K. Cook came out with kind of like a synopsized Mint Press News article talking about that, and then one other story. So I'm actually going to go over that article and kind of bring it down, because it was going to be over an hour of content. Now I'm going to do more like 25 minutes worth. So I'm going to do that on Rokfin tomorrow. And then, of course, I'm reading Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti on my YouTube channel, which I'll get the second half of chapter 7 out probably later today or tomorrow.
Sweet. And are those getting decent views? I mean, I've been watching a little bit, but it's almost like an
not
ebook.
As many. Yeah, and that's what I do. I just trying to educate. It's not the same entertainment value, because I'm just kind of reading, but I get 100 views per video rather than 300 or 400, but it's not a big deal. I still want to do it anyway. And I don't know if you saw, JB is now doing the same thing on his show, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people do that, because a lot of people don't have time to read, so they can just pop on my channel. We'll read chapter by chapter. I usually do a chapter a week. And that way you kind of absorb the book without having to actually read it, and people can listen to it while they're at work or while they're doing other stuff. So,
well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if maybe we want to think about ripping the audio and turning it into a podcast, if you haven't done that already. And
I haven't. I don't know logistically, like, if I'm allowed to, because I don't want to make any money off of it, because I don't want to get sued.
No, you don't have to make money. I don't put ads on any of our podcasts. I don't monetize any of that stuff. But just to put it out there and give them the audio, the ability to put it into their favorite podcast app potentially. We can talk about there's easy conversion sites that basically you upload the MP4 audio and it downloads the MP3 video. You upload the MP4 video and it downloads the MP3 audio file of that, and you just upload that to Anchor.fm or one of these other distribution sites that automatically sends it out to Apple and Google and all these other podcast sites, so that when people download it onto their phones, they can just subscribe to it and have it pushed out to them that way. Just another way. We started doing that with How Do We Miss That, and with the Friends of Indie Left podcast. And we don't get much, but we get some people that do listen that way. And one of my friends told me that he actually he tells Alexa to play the Leftist.today podcast, and it works. I was like, that's badass. Cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So if you could say, hey Alexa, play the Rob Durden podcast, that's something we can think about trying to figure out a way to hook up for sure. Because I think that's another way for all of us platform wise, and that doesn't take a lot of time or make you make any new content. That's just repurposing the content that you have and putting it into a different place. That's one of the things that I'm a big fan of, is getting the most out of a piece of content. And I follow and I watch some people on LinkedIn and across YouTube that talk about ways to do that. And it's not about monetizing. It's just about maximizing so that you can optimize your time and you can maximize your reach, not necessarily your dollarization. If you want to dollarize, you can. I mean, that's not what Rob and I are here to do, but yeah. So that's an hour for today. I really appreciate everybody's time that came to hang out and chat. I don't know how many there were, but yeah, March for Medicare for All, 9 p.m. tonight. Everybody, the fundraiser, and then again July 30th at Union Square in Washington D.C. They're gonna march to Congress, and they're gonna tell them we need Medicare for all, and there's gonna be a huge lineup of speakers, I believe, then too, and They need to raise about $10,000 at least. So we're hoping that we're going to get some donations tonight and throughout the month of July. So thank you, everybody. This is Indy and this guy Rob sitting next to me, and we'll see you next week or soon, but later on tonight. Come back to INN.